I realised this year that me being depressed was my own fucking decision. I had been working with a therapist for a couple of years, on and off. I'd spoken to specialists and I got given the label, George, my friend, you have depression. And this was back in January, and I allowed it to consume me. I remember thinking to myself, oh, I knew it, poor me, I'm so unlucky, why does this have to happen to me? And I sat in that headspace for a couple of weeks. And it was only when I started to realise to myself that I can either spend my time being fucking sad or I can do something about it, that things started to change for me. Now, I'm not for a second saying that if you just go to the gym and eat well and work on yourself that you're going to magically become undepressed, because obviously if there's a chemical imbalance and there's a lot of shit you need to deal with, there's a lot of shit you need to deal with. But in this video today, I want to talk you through how I believe I fucking absolutely pulled the pants down off of depression, and this is the happiest, most fulfilled that I think I've ever been in my entire life. So, the first thing that I recognise is that I was spending a lot of my spare time doing things that were short-term dopamine hits. So I looked at my screen time, I was spending a few hours every single day on Instagram. I was spending a few hours every single day just doom scrolling on TikTok. And I looked at the hours spent and I thought to myself, like, none of those hours were fucking productive. You know, I convinced myself that they were because I'm a business owner and I'm doing research, and, you know, I'd be reaching out to people and talking to people in chats and stuff like that. But, like, if I'm brutally honest with myself, a lot of it was fucking wasted. So the very, very, very first thing that I did is I did something called a time audit. Okay, so I got up a Google Sheet and I basically time blocked every 30 minutes from when I wake up to when I go to bed. And I was diligent with it. I literally just wrote in, right, 30 minutes has passed. What did I do in that 30-minute block? And what I did to begin with is I overcompensated, and I was like, right, I've got to be super productive because I don't want to look at this time block and it to seem like I'm being lazy or slacking. So for the first maybe like 48 hours, like 2-3 days, you know, I was working like 14-hour days and I was like, yeah, I'm being productive, I'm doing great stuff. But then what I started to realise is by day 4, by day 5, by day 6, I was resentful, I was angry, I was frustrated, I had a short temper. And I scratched my head and thinking, hold on a minute, I'm supposed to be working on myself here, yet I'm at day 4 or 5 and I feel even worse. And what I started to realise, guys, is that I didn't need fucking balance, I needed synergy. And what I mean by synergy, right, is we all do this, right? A lot of guys do this. They can be very black and white thinkers, they can be very logical thinkers, and they can be very all or nothing thinkers. It's either I'm fat, I'm overweight, I'm unproductive, I feel like shit, and I'm low, or I feel fantastic, I'm hitting the gym, I'm going for runs, whatever, right? What I needed to get very good at is recognizing that I needed to have a shift of identity in order to completely change my life. Now, my previous identity was I'd survived a very traumatic few years. I had dealt with a lot of shit and I'd been through a lot of stuff. And I think that I was focusing on the trouble and I was focusing on the pain so much that it's all that I was fucking thinking about on a day-to-day basis. I'd be in the gym and I'd be like pissed off at my dad, or I'd be lifting weights and I'm getting like angry and I'm psyching myself up for a set, thinking about all the fucking hurt that we went through in childhood. And because I stayed in that emotional state for such a long period of time, it fucking consumed me. It absolutely consumed me. And, you know, guys, thoughts become things. If you're always thinking about sad things and upsetting things and traumatic things and fucked up things, then that's going to literally fucking pour out of you. You're going to start to gain weight, you'll get watery, you'll get spots, your skin will break out, and, you know, you'll look like crap. And it's something that we need to recognize, is that happy, fulfilled, energized people don't think horrible thoughts every single day, you know? So the first thing that I needed to get really good at is start to master my mind and recognize that there's going to be some things that I do now that feel incredibly challenging that are going to benefit me in the future. The second thing that I did is I started to wake up early. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, you're one of those guys who gets up at 4 a.m. and does an eye cold plunge and does a journal and all this kind of stuff. Let me talk you through my rationale for getting up early. One of my biggest kind of mistakes and one of my biggest fuck-ups in life when my mental health is low is that I finish work and then I go, now what? And I get FOMO. I go online, I doom scroll, I go onto YouTube, I start looking at bullshit, and the next thing you know, it's midnight, and all I've done really is watch short form videos for just hours and hours and hours on end, and I think, what the fuck have I done? And someone said this to me once, and it's always stuck with me, and that's that nothing good happens after 9 p.m. I've actually changed it. I don't think anything good happens after 8 p.m. Like, really, when you think about it, that's when all of the distracting TV comes on, it's Netflix, it's, you know, sitting down, just watching garbage, just not really doing anything with your time. And that's not to say that I don't want you guys to switch off and, you know, spend time with your partners and actually relax, because that's fucking important. But really, when you get into the nitty gritty, think to yourself, do you think that you're going to have more productivity, higher level of work, more focus in the early hours of the morning or at the late hours of night. And I can guarantee there's some people watching this thinking, I'm a night person. Studies suggest that there's only about 15% of the world population that are actually night people. We're all morning people. We naturally operate better in the morning because we've got more motivation, more inspiration, more dedication, more willpower. And especially for guys, your testosterone naturally spikes in the morning and it declines throughout the day. So if you're a guy watching this and you've got an important conversation to have, or you've got a big task to complete, or you've got a difficult conversation, or whatever it is, I'd highly advise you do it in the first half of your day. Because if you do it in the last half of your day, you're going to be a lot more reactive because your testosterone levels naturally decrease a little bit as you do go through the day. The thing after that kind of helped me get out of that depressive state is I needed a fucking goal. And I needed something that was going to make me uncomfortable. Now, at that point, guys, I was 103 kilos, which for me, I'm 6'1". I am incredibly active and I do go to the gym a lot, but that was too fucking heavy for me. So I needed to lose some weight and I needed a goal. So I signed up to a photo shoot. And although I gave myself a long time to get ready for the photo shoot, I wasn't in a very good way. My training was kind of 70% at best. My nutrition was shocking. I was ordering takeaways like 2-3 times a week easily. And the actual quality of the nutrition I was eating was crap. And I don't care what anyone says, all these coaches saying, oh, you need balance and you need to chuck some biscuits in and some donuts and some cakes. You try fucking eating biscuits, donuts, cakes, crisps, sweets every fucking week and tell me how you feel at the back end of the week. Then you swap those exact same foods for fruits and vegetables and then tell me how you feel. Tell me how your skin looks. Tell me how your mood is. Tell me how your libido is. Tell me how everything is. And trust me, you'll feel a lot fucking better eating whole foods instead of all this bullshit that people eat nowadays. So I needed to change that. But I think for me, a huge thing was just having that goal. Because men say to me all the time, oh, you know, I just want peace. I just want peace and quiet. I don't want any issues. Oh, you know, I just want to chill. But what we're doing, guys, is we're wishing comfort on ourselves. And something that I've realized and something that I've kind of matured with and really kind of been able to conceptualize is that men want peace, but men need war. I'm going to say that again. Men want peace, but men need war. Okay? Think to yourself. Do you think the fucking cavemen running away from saber-toothed tigers had time to be fucking depressed? No. They went out. They hunted. They catched and prey. They brought it back. The whole fucking tribe would eat. They'd rest and then they'd go out and fucking hunt again. Okay, so they have war and they have peace. It's the yin and the yang of life. What goes up must go down. And it's the reason why, if you've ever committed to a dieting phase, or you've ever built a business, or you've ever done something incredibly hard, the actual release of dopamine after that is second to none. You can't fucking beat it. If anyone here has ever competed in a competition, like a bodybuilding competition, or you've run a marathon, or you've done a High Rocks event, or whatever the fuck it is, you get to the end and that sense of achievement, the endorphins, you just cannot fucking beat it. Okay? Same way that oxytocin works within the brain when you fall in love with someone. When you've nurtured that relationship, when you've got to know them, and you've gone on dates, and you've gone for picnics, and you've gone out for meals, and you've really listened to the person sat across from you and got to really understand them. And then months down the line, you're like, wow, I think I love this person. You know, it's the same chemical release, or very similar chemical release of when you've actually worked at something, at the time into something, and then you have the payoff. So what I don't want you guys to wish for is peace. That's the worst fucking thing that you can wish for. Have peace, yes, have comfort, but only off the back end of work. And I promise you guys, if you're seeking comfort right now and you're seeking peace without realizing that it's going to take a lot of work to get there, that's when you're going to start to feel fucking depressed. And this is why I think that if I look across my friendship circle right now, if I look in my network, the vast majority of people that I'm incredibly close with have been through some fucking difficult times, really challenging times. And the reason that I'm such good friends with these people is because, well, for one, we can resonate, but for two, there's a certain level of resilience, a certain level of emotional intelligence, and a certain level of humility that comes with going through something really challenging, overcoming the challenging thing, and then learning the lesson from the thing, because the obstacle is the way. And I mean, I look back now, and this is a kind of messed up thing to say, but I'm fucking glad that someone told me that I was depressed, because I was like, holy shit. Like, I needed to wake up and be like, right, what am I doing? Like, you know, I'm supposed to be this health and fitness coach and now mentoring other fitness coaches. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm clearly not looking after my physical health, let alone my mental health. So, you know, I need to do something about it. And the way to go about that is, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. Therapy was fucking awesome, talking to somebody. But there becomes a point where you have to fucking take action on other things. Great, have the chat, have the conversation, get it out, vent. But don't just sit on it. Don't then go home and cry into a pillow and write in your fucking journal and be like, oh, I'm so sad. Like, great, get it out, have a cry, do whatever the fuck you need to do, and then get to work. Work on your body, work on your mind, read fucking books, implement the books that you read. Hire someone that's, you know, further ahead in life than you. Hire a mentor, get a part of a mastermind, go to a fucking course, hire a fitness coach. Get yourself out of your fucking comfort zone, because that is the thing that's going to completely turn your fucking life around. And I can say this today in absolute confidence. As I drive back home right now, I'm in the UK right now. I do live in Dubai, but I'm back in the UK, so I'm driving back. And, you know, every day I wake up with a smile on my face. You know, I do grimace a little bit when the alarm goes off at 4:30, and I think, motherfucker. But that kind of first 5-10 minutes, you know, not snoozing that alarm, that's my first win. Then my next win, I take my supplements, I hydrate, I get some steps in, that's another win. I then eat my meal, I follow my meal plan, I make sure that the macros are properly tracked, I consume that, that's another win. You know, I then do my, you know, deep work that I need to be doing for the day, 60 minutes, boom, that's another win. I then drive to the gym, I do my session, I complete my cardio, that's another win. And we're just stacking wins throughout the day, guys. And, you know, we're certainly not robots, but for me, what I've found is just waking up way before the sun. Like, whether it be, it kind of depends, whether it be 3:30, 4, 4:30. In my opinion, I think if you want to turn your life around, it sounds bro. Guys, I've tried hundreds of things, it just works. And you're just going to have to try it. And if you try it for a week and you hate it, message me and tell me that you hate it. But just try waking up at 5 a.m. or earlier. Just fucking try it. Because, you know, the average person in the UK, and this is actually tracked on the Deep Sleep Sleep Cycle app, the average person on that app, and there's hundreds of thousands of users, wakes up at 11 minutes past 7. So if you wake up at 5 a.m, you've got 2 hours of productive work ahead of the whole of the rest of the country. And you can train, you can do cardio, you can do deep work on your business, you can do deep work on yourself. You've got 2 hours, you know, 120 minutes of uninterrupted you time. And then what you can do is at the end of the day, when you've completed the task, when you've done the things, and when you've gone to the gym, and when you've built your business, and when you've worked on yourself, you then get to go home. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, holy fucking shit, I've done everything I need to do. Tidy up a few things at work. And oftentimes, guys, you're gonna get to 4 and go, shit, I'm done, sweet. And then you've got, you know, a good 4 or 5 hours at the back end of your day to chill. You know, you can spend time with your partner, you can go out for a nice walk. I mean, fuck, if you want to, go play golf, go to the cinema, like, go and switch off, go and chill out. You know, you've earned your fucking rest, you know? But I think that those are some of the things that have really, really, really helped me turn things around. And then the final thing I'm going to mention, because this is important, people think when they're struggling, they need to isolate themselves, especially men. Oh, you know, I shouldn't be talking to other people. Like, I feel embarrassed, almost like a fucking wounded dog or a wounded cat. You know, you go and hide. Don't do that, guys. When you're wounded, when you're struggling, like, human beings are social animals. Whether you're introverted or whether you're extroverted, you have to get yourself out of your comfort zone. And like, for me, this is why I love, you know, with moving to Dubai, the community I've got over there are phenomenal. I've got friends who wake up at fucking 2 a.m. because they're psychos. In fact, I've actually got a friend of mine who wakes up at fucking 1 a.m. because he's got a lot of clients in Australia. So he wakes up at 1, he does check-ins for the first 2 hours of his day, he then goes for a massive walk. Then at 4 a.m, he's in the gym doing his cardio, comes back, does more check-ins with clients, and then he's weight training at 9 a.m. And by the time he gets to fucking 12 p.m, his day's fucking done. And he's doing a hell of a lot of work. So anyway, guys, I'm going to round this up here. I think that some of the key notes is you need to get around people who push you, that want more from you, that get you out of your comfort zone, that actually want to fucking see you win. You need to stop putting up with the bullshit fucking excuses. Get out of bed early, get to fucking work on yourself, work on your body, work on your mind, eat better fucking food. Seriously, eat better, more fucking nutrition food. Set yourself a stretch goal. And guys, you'll make more progress than you can ever imagine, you know? For context, in the last 2 months, I've earned the most money that I've ever earned in my entire life in the last 60 days because of this compounding effect. I am the most muscular I think that I've ever been. I'm the leanest that I've ever been. I've got the best friends in my life I think I've ever had. My clients are super aligned to me. My staff are fucking crushing it. I've hired 2 new staff members since the start of this year. Our business is scaling at a rate that is just so fucking exciting to see. Like, my relationship has never been better. Like, me and my partner are so fucking happy because I've done that work, and my whole life is significantly better. I do work way harder than I was before. I'm waking up earlier than I was before, and on average I'm probably putting in more working hours, but I have much better synergy, and I truly feel like a man that is fucking aligned. I'm confident, I feel good, I feel healthy, I feel happy, because I went and did the fucking difficult thing, and I understood that I needed to go to war with myself, and I needed to fucking kill my lower self to allow my higher self to be reborn. If this was helpful today, guys, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.